Hello. Welcome to the overview of the Tulsa Equality Indicators. My name is DeAndre Hayes, Chief Resilience Officer of the City of Tulsa.
And I'm Melanie Poulter, Director of Research and Data at Tulsa Area United Way.
And in this video, we will briefly explain the purpose of the Tulsa Equality Indicators, how the data can be used to inform decision making, and the methodology used to calculate the scores. So let's begin with the purpose. The primary purpose of the Tulsa Equality Indicators is to measure levels of disparity across a variety of factors impacting our community. The indicators focus on comparing outcomes and opportunities between the most and least advantaged population groups. The methodology is rooted in a longitudinal framework, which allows the city to track changes in inequality over time. It's important to note that these indicators are specifically tailored to reflect the disparity experienced by Tulsans, enabling a focused comparison between the most and least disadvantaged groups. This is our seventh report. It is a partnership between the Tulsa Area United Way and funded by the City of Tulsa. The Tulsa Equality Indicators Report is a comprehensive document that contains 54 carefully selected indicators. These indicators are organized into six broad themes, making it easier to analyze various aspects of equity. The report is published annually, providing valuable insights into how inequality changes over time in Tulsa. This regular reporting is crucial for understanding our progress and areas that still require attention. You may be wondering, how can I use this report? Well, let's discuss a few helpful ways this data can be used. First, it can be used to promote discussions on equity within our community. It also helps us identify key areas to concentrate our equity efforts on, allowing us, community leaders, stakeholders, and all of those invested in the city of Tulsa to focus our resources where they are needed most. It also allows us to leverage the data to inform programmatic solutions and create specific interventions tailored to address the disparities identified. This report is organized into six key themes, which include economic opportunity, education, housing, justice, public health, and services. The structure of the EI report is as follows. If you take a closer look, you'll see that each section is organized into three main components. Every section starts with a theme, followed by three topics and 9 indicators.
Thanks, DeAndre. Let's go through a quick tutorial of how we calculate equality indicator scores. We begin by calculating the equality score for each indicator. We use disaggregated data to identify the most advantaged and the most disadvantaged populations for each indicator because the whole point of the work is to assess levels of disparity. We then use the rates or percentages for those two groups in this very simple formula. Group A rate is divided by Group B rate to produce a ratio. In almost all instances, Group A is the group with the higher rate of the two populations we're comparing. In order to make the values comparable, they must be in the form of a rate or a percentage or a scale of some sort. They cannot be simple counts. The resulting ratio is then converted to an equality score using the City University of New York conversion matrix. If you're interested in this conversion matrix, you can find it in the appendix of the report, which is available at tulsaei.org. Those scores range from 1 for inequality at a scale of at least 10 times to 100 representing full equality, or the situation in which the advantaged and disadvantaged populations have reversed positions. Any score below 100 means that there is some level of disparity between populations. The lower the score, the greater the degree of disparity or inequality. So a low score means greater inequality, and a high score means closer to equality. Now that you understand what the scores mean, let's walk through how to read an equality indicator table. Let's start with the header. where you'll find the name of the indicator and details about the populations being compared. For this example, we're using indicator 25, rent burden by income. This tells us that the greatest levels of disparity in rent burden were found to be based on differences in household income, as opposed to race or geography or any other variable. If any clarification about how the indicator is measured is needed, that is also included in the header. Here you see that we're using the standard definition for rent burden, spending more than 30% of income on rent and other housing costs. Next are the indicator equality scores for each year of the project. Notice the years shown represent the report year, not the data year. The first column represents the 2018 report, and the last column represents the 2024 report. So we see that the equality score for rent burden by income has improved from 12 to 29 over the period of the project. That can be interpreted as a positive trend, as it does indicate declining disparity. Let's hold that thought for now and return to it in a minute. Next are descriptions of the two comparison groups for this indicator. In this example, Group A is lower income renter households. Group B is higher income renter households, and we're comparing the percentage of each that are rent burdened. To enable users to dig deeper and understand what is driving the equality scores, we include the raw data used to calculate them. This is where we can see what caused the score improvement we observed earlier. The data show that the share of lower income households that are rent burdened has increased from 79.1%, as reported in the 2018 report, to 88.5%, as reported in the 2024 report, and that the share of higher income households that are rent burdened increased from 11.3% to 23.9%, indicating that rent burden is increasing for both groups. Certainly not a good trend. So why did the equality score improve? Remember, the equality score is measuring the disparity between two groups, not the overall outcome. This is what makes equality indicators different from other kinds of community assessments. A score improvement simply means that the disparity between the two groups is declining. That decline may be due to the disadvantaged group's outcomes improving more than the advantaged group's outcomes, but conversely, it could also mean that both groups' outcomes have worsened, but to a greater degree for the advantaged group, which is actually the case with this indicator. It's important to understand the data underlying the scores to be able to effectively address a problem. And on the last row of the body of the table are simply the ratios that result from dividing Group A by Group B, reflecting the amount of disparity between the two groups. You can see that the ratio decreased from 7.0 to 3.709, a declining disparity ratio corresponding to an improving equality score. The smaller the disparity, the better the equality score. And if all of that made your head hurt, or you just want the key point, we've included a highlight that describes the finding that lower income renters experience rent burden at a rate that is more than 3.5 times that of higher income renters, which incidentally comes directly from the ratio 3.709. Each table also gives the change score, representing the numeric change in equality score from the first to the latest year. And finally, any explanatory notes are included at the bottom. Now that you're equipped to interpret the indicator tables, let's move on to higher level equality scores. Remember, indicator scores are averaged to produce topic scores. Topic scores are averaged to produce theme scores. And lastly, theme scores are averaged to produce the city score. We're looking here at the 7 years of equality scores for each of the 6 themes. You can see that some themes have shown improvement and some have shown decline over this time. The highest scoring theme is education at 55.11, followed by economic opportunity at 48.44. Remember, this means that indicators in these themes, on average, have the lowest levels of disparity between population groups. Justice has the lowest equality score at 30.44, followed by services at 38.33, revealing that indicators in these themes have the highest levels of disparity between groups. Notice also that all themes except justice have experienced some degree of reduction in disparity since the project began. Only the justice theme shows a growth in disparity. Here's the good news. With a 2024 equality score of 43.09, Tulsa's score has improved every year for a total of 4.4 points since the project's inception. System level change isn't fast, but through collaboration of committed community leaders and stakeholders, Tulsa is moving toward being a more equitable city.
The Tulsa Equality Indicators play a crucial role in assessing levels of inequality within our community. This report not only measures disparities, but also encourages vital discussions on equity amongst stakeholders. It also indicates key points and areas where we can concentrate our equity efforts, guiding our actions towards tangible improvements. If you would like to learn more about the Tulsa Equality Indicators or engage with the lead organizations for the summit, we encourage you to scan the QR code listed on your screen. It will direct you to additional resources and opportunities for involvement. Thank you for watching this presentation on the Tulsa Equality Indicators. We look forward to seeing you at the upcoming Tulsa Equality Indicator Summit.